Welcome back to all our friends, family, and yes, even our foes, to the Foxx Den Sports Podcast, where Todd and his sports-passionate kids are ready to bring you the latest updates and insights on all things sports. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
You're stepping into the Foxx Den, where passion runs wild, the takes run hotter, and the skulk rolls deep. I'm your host, Todd Foxx, also known as the Podfather. And with me tonight is my crew of chaos. We've got Kellen the dog, blitzing hot takes like a linebacker on a mission. Gannon, who's cool under pressure, clutch on the mic, the 2-minute drill king. And cute little C, small frame, big game, the spark plug with a stat sheet. And you know him, you fear him, you love him, and yeah, you just might hate him. He's the Den's enforcer, Clay Bench McDonald, bringing the muscle and the mayhem every time we suit up. We're here to hunt down the biggest stories, tear into the hottest debates, and celebrate the savage spirit of sports. This isn't just a podcast, folks. No, it's a movement. So lace up, lock in, and join the skulk, because this is the Foxx Den. All right, gentlemen. And cute little C. Let's get it. Let's talk. Let's talk a lot of Thunder. Oklahoma City Thunder won Game 7 yesterday. Defeating Denver was a 125-93, I believe, something that in that 92, something right around that area. But wasn't very close. I mean, it was a little bit close early on, but obviously the Thunder won, and what we're going to talk a lot about the Thunder in Denver here, and we'll go into later on towards the end of the podcast, Minnesota and the Thunder. So let's hear it, gang. Gannon, once you go first, what's your initial thought from yesterday's? Let's talk about yesterday's performance.
I mean, it was a defensive masterclass yesterday. I think it solidified us as one of the greatest defenses of all time for a single season. Being able to shut down somebody as good as Jokic on offense for 5 out of 7 games. He erupted twice, and both of those you live with because you did all you could. But it started with our defense. Our offense, we finally shot fairly well. It was at least a threat. They had to at least jump out there to guard the 3 or just let us go inside. It was a little rough at the beginning, but I mean, the big takeaway is our defense, 22 turnovers forced. Our rebounding was actually competent. They weren't dominating us on the boards. And after you start on defense, the offense is a whole lot more fluid. I thought it was a great game. I thought it was actually kind of exactly what I predicted a couple of days before and the day before on Twitter. I predicted that Jaylin Williams would have a phenomenal game along with the whole rest of the roster, but specifically him because he obviously had a lot of stigma around him after that Game 6. But yeah.
Kellen, what do you think?
I mean, like Anna said, just that defense was incredible, aggressive, relentless. Like, we're up 20 points and you still got Caruso full court pressing and forcing some big turnovers off Jokic. J-Dub came out, redeemed himself, like played lights out, like had his own little run where he's scoring, he's stealing the ball at half court and taking it in. Like, I think at one
17
point,
points in the second quarter.
Yeah, and at one point I think it was like 20 turnovers to 4. Like, it was that was the difference maker in the sense of it was just like they lost steam. Shai put on a masterclass, of course. I did whatever he wanted. I think in Game 6 and 7 he shot over 60% both games. Half the time, all they could do was hit free throws. Like, they weren't even hitting regular baskets. Like, so you can't even blame the refs. Like, they were getting more whistles than we were. It was just an incredible game. I really, honestly, I feel like we needed that game. We needed a Game 7 to see how these guys did in the most important game of their life. It was beautiful.
Clay, what about you?
Yeah, I think the same thing. Defense was really good. I think what helps is that we're just not a really very good half-court offense, and we don't like to work it and move it. I mean, especially against the zone, and we kind of figured some things out against the zone yesterday, getting it into the baseline, throwing it in the middle of the paint. been able to lob it in the corner because Gordon was hurt. He couldn't guard very well. Of course, that brings Jokic up if you throw it into the free throw line, so that opens up those corner shots a little more. So I think that helped, but we didn't shoot very good still, even, 3-pointers. Wiggins didn't shoot very good. Wallace hit a couple, but I mean, it just kind of still below our average. And so that still kind of makes me a little nervous about how poor we're shooting, but I do think we shoot better in transition. I think we shoot better in a man offense, because anytime we made our threes, it was a catch and shoot. It wasn't catch and look around and then shoot it because we were wide open, and we're just not very good at that. And but yeah, I heard somebody call Caruso Cruz show today, and I think when Joker only shot 9 shots for the entire game, I think their philosophy was just don't even let him shoot it. We're not even going to let him catch a ball. Like Kellen said, taking him up full court, he just hardly got to touch the ball.
Yeah, his usage rate was down to 20%.
Yeah, but it's like y'all said, the free throws, that was the only thing that really kept them in the game the first quarter.
Sure.
Is that they were just making free throws. So, and I thought they just beat us in game 6. I think they just outplayed us and played good, shot well. Strother comes in and hits well, and I think they just beat us that game, and so that was disappointing, but it was fun winning at home.
Cute little C, what did you think?
I mean, those first few minutes definitely worried me, but I think after that we realized that it was Game 7, and if we didn't lock in, we were going to be out. So, I mean, J-Dub had a great game, which he definitely needed to prove himself. I think Caruso definitely impressed me. And also pointing out Caruso, because I think even just next season, but maybe even in 2 seasons, I think he's going to be great once he gets some more experience. I mean, that dunk on Jokic was beautiful. So I think once he gets some more experience, he's really good on both sides of the court. But yeah, I think once we finally locked in and realized that it was Game 7, and if we won, then we were good. Then I think we did really good.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know we dropped Kellen off at the airport last night after the game, a little bit after the game, and on the way home we came back obviously home, and then me and Gannon and Callie watched the game again. But we fast forward through the commercials, and it's obviously a different feeling whenever you're watching a game and you know you're going to win. But looking back on it, I know we were talking about, like, with 5 minutes and 31 seconds left in the first quarter, Denver took a 21-10 lead. And then, we kept fighting back a little bit. I think it was 3 minutes, 43 seconds, says Kaysen did one of the little, what do you call that, alley-oops to Chet for a dunk. And then Wiggins had a fast break that he gave to Wallace for another dunk. And then next thing you know it, Caruso hits a three-pointer here a little bit later after another Wallace lobbed to Chet, and we took the lead and never looked back. And we were talking last night, like, we didn't know it at the time, but basically, like, the game was over at that point. We didn't realize it. And I know we got up quite a bit, and what I was thinking was going to happen is that Denver was going to go on one of those runs, like a 13-0, 14-0 run, and narrow the gap, and they never did. And to your guys' point, like Jokic, I mean, his points were off of free throws. So Caruso did a fantastic job on him. Again, like we've said 1,000 times before, it's the reason why we got him. And obviously he played huge dividends. But I also want to ask the question, so because I know, Shai ended up with 35 points. He had 3 steals. J-Dub, he bounced back with 24 points, 7 assists, and ferocious dunk. What were your thoughts on him? I know, and Shai said it best after Game 6. He had a really rough Game 6. He said, hey, he's going to come back on Game 7, have a big game, and then everybody's going to forget about Game 6. And they're going to forget about that. So what do you think? What I guess basically just what are your thoughts on J-Dub stepping up yesterday when we definitely needed him to?
I mean, he's kind of the foundation on whether we'll make it or we won't. I know we lost Game 3 when he had 31, 32 points or so, and that was the only example that kind of goes against it. But even then, like, if he plays well, I think there's no team in the league that could ever stop us. But he's been very inconsistent, and all we needed him to do, what we were saying pregame, was just like we don't even need 30 or 40 points. Just give us like a
Right.
efficient 15 at the very least, because we know he hustles on defense. He makes the right play, even if it doesn't work out. He's a smart player, and all we need is just smart shots, 15 points, and that's exactly what he did. And being just smart and steady opened up what ended up being more than just 15 points. I mean, it's very exciting. I think we're going to see him also have another. I think he's going to have a lot better of a series overall against Minnesota.
Anyone else, J-Dub?
I think it showed maturity and a cool head, because I'd rather him do poor and go crazy in Game 7 than like do great, and then when it comes to clutch time in Game 7, that's when he fumbles the bag. So I think if he can show composure in a Game 7, he will be fine. He'll recover for other games. He's just got to match that energy, but I think he just showed a lot of maturity in that game.
Clay, what does that game like that do for his confidence?
I think it really gets him going. I mean, but I don't think he's had two bad back-to-back games this whole year, so we should have not panicked. I was panicking. I'm when I say we, I conclude myself most certainly, but he's solid. I mean, he's ready to go no matter what. He may have a bad game in this next series, but he'll be fine. But even in the game where he only scored 6 points, he still had 7 or 8 rebounds and played pretty good, decent defense. And so he's still an all-star, even on a bad night.
Definitely. Callie, how excited were you with J-Dub's performance?
I mean, I was really excited. I've liked J-Dub since the beginning. After Game 6, it was scary because, some fans are saying don't start him, all this stuff. I don't think that makes any sense because, he's pretty consistent. I agree with what Kellen said. You'd rather him have a good Game 7 performance and perform badly during Game 3 or something. So I think it shows that we can rely on him, especially with him not having as much experience.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go for it.
All right. Just going off what she said, even if he did have a bad Game 7, don't write him off yet. It's his second? Is it his second year or third year? Third year. He's a young guy. He's going to keep getting better and keep growing. You got to think we are the youngest team out there. And a lot of people wrote us off because of that, and some of it rightfully so. It's just history shows that teams like this don't perform well. So it would have been frustrating if he had played poorly and cost us that game, but you just got to think these guys are young and they're going to keep getting better. They're nowhere near his peak. So, but it didn't matter. He came out and performed like crazy.
Yeah, this game, the Thunder made 27 layups and dunks combined. They solved Denver's zone defense. I know they had 1 point per possession versus 0.91 in games 1 through 6. So every time they had a possession, it averaged out to 1 point. 27 transition points. Our bench was plus 45 against Denver's bench minus 52. And then, Nuggets. Let's talk real quick about Gordon, his injury. How much? It's not the reason they lost. You got these trolls all over Twitter and all over, but saying that's the reason why. But how much do you think that did hurt them, Denver, with him being hurt? Basically not 100%.
I personally didn't feel like he did that bad. I feel like he was out rebounding all our guys. So and he made a few shots. Probably could have been a little better defensively, but I still don't think that's what got us going. So I don't think that cost them the game at all, personally. I think we beat them bad enough that it did not cost them the game.
I think that's whether it did or not. I mean, that's why the Thunder prepared for stuff like this all season long. I mean, I don't think people realize how many injuries we had the entire season and got all these players ready. And I think the Nuggets could have easily done that and got players ready, but they didn't. And it came back and cost them. And, and so whether it's part of it, I mean, this whole NBA playoffs has been nothing but injuries. And, who would have thought that all these teams that have been out because of injuries? Well, I mean, if we lose Shai or J-Dub, we know we're probably done. We get that, but that stinks. It's part of it.
And I don't know if you guys saw Jokic's response post game, but I loved what he said because somebody asked him, one of the reporters, they said, do you still feel good about this squad? Bringing this team to Game 7, even with illnesses and injuries and all this stuff. And he was just like, the question was, I guess, do you still have confidence in this squad, like being able to win a championship, even with all of that, because it's how you performed? And he was just like, we didn't win it, so that means we can't. And he was like, I don't really play into all those ifs and all that stuff. And he was a clown all series on the court when he was rolling all over the floor, manipulating it with the refs. But I like that response because he wasn't doing what the superstars in the last decade have done. He was just like, we didn't win, so we can't. Like, it's pretty straightforward. So even he agrees that it wasn't that much of an impact. And also
Sorry.
I was going to say the Murray sickness was a cover up, whatever, like, or not a cover up. They weren't being honest with
gamesmanship
as anything. Yeah, that's the word. Where we saying, Kellen?
Speaking of Murray, did you see what he said after the game?
I'm going to guess some kind of clownery.
No. They asked him. They said, "What's your biggest takeaway from the 7-game series?" He said, "To be honest, playing 7 games against them reminded me of playing AAU. It was like an AAU tournament out there. Everybody was young, athletic, and flying around."
Fair enough.
Just like,
True.
our team was just so much more energy than they were, like, and could just keep going longer than they could. It's just pretty hilarious. And he didn't mean it as an insult. He was meaning it as just like,
oh no, yeah, that's a fair response.
Do you think it wears people out with him and Luke and those players that are just constantly complaining to the refs? And what I mean by people, like fans, or do you think they're just fine with it?
Not the
some
Nuggets
people,
fans.
but they don't get as much hate as we do for shooting free throws for some reason, even though we shoot less than other teams. Like, I don't really understand how all those narratives work. It's just somebody says something and to troll everybody, and everybody just jumps on it, and nobody really knows what they're talking about.
Well, I know, Gannon, I don't remember the numbers. Callie, you, me, and Gannon, and Kellen was there too. We were talking in the first quarter. Remember, Denver had a significant free throw advantage. It's because they were going inside, and we're trying to shoot these threes.
Then
we started attacking the rim. What was it? I'm sorry.
16-5 at one point, free throws.
Yeah, and then we started attacking the rim. And I think that's whenever a lot more shots came our way, so it was fantastic. What about Shai? Is this his signature playoff moment so far at this point? Did he get his
first one? Yes.
First one?
Yes,
first of many?
Yeah.
Many to come? Callie, what do you think about Shai and his leadership with this team, how important that is for the Thunder? Just because his calmness of just being able to keep the team calm and focused. She's frozen. Callie is frozen.
Or she's staring in one place for a long time.
That's what you do. Just be like, but anyway, hey, that's okay. She'll be back on with us here shortly. Clay, what about you? What do you think with his, her laptop just died, she said.
Oh, no. Honestly, I think he plays the exact same way every single game. No matter we're playing the Utah Jazz or the Washington Wizards or Game 7. Just calmness, just plays the same way every time. And, I was trying to listen to some of the Denver radio today, and they called him James Harden. All he tries to do is get fouls and shoot free throws. And I'm like, that is so far from the truth.
Were you listening to Denver? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Denver.
I remember you saying,
station. Yeah. And that was today. And I was just like, okay, whatever. And I was like, he's little, so they foul him and flings him across the court. But he's not a flopper.
If they don't, he's draining that thing.
Yeah. When he gets within 15 feet, it is money.
Money, yeah.
And half the time they foul him and he still drains it. It's like, out of people that push the rim or push like the paint, out of everybody this season and a lot of seasons, he had the least amount percentage-wise of free throws to like shots. Like, he does not get the whistle, but that's his bread and butter. But now everybody's used to people like Curry jacking up threes. You don't get fouled as often on a three as you do at the rim. That's just part of it. Like, I don't know. Without free throws, he was still the scoring leader this year. So it's like, it's all just a false narrative. I would say he's Harden 2.0. Like, he can get fouls, but he's better in every aspect. He doesn't need the fouls and doesn't. Harden was shooting like 18 a game, seems like, his MVP year. Like, Shai, I think, was like 9. So, like, it doesn't make any sense. It's just a false narrative that people are just jumping on because they don't actually watch us play.
I think T-Wolf's coach is the one that got all that started.
He is. And Yeah, you're right. He is. And that's what I was going to ask is that what's all the hate with OKC? I mean, I guess, I don't understand it because I'm here. But what have we done to make so many people just really, really, yeah.
It's kind of like people hated the Patriots all those years. No reason to really hate them. They just won.
I mean, they hated the Warriors when they won. People hate the Celtics
but all
right
those
now.
other
They hated the
teams-
Bulls.
All those other teams that felt like they didn't hate as quickly. It was like once you got tired of them, we just started. We've been here for 2 years.
That's how good we are. That's the difference.
No, I agree, and it's like we prove everybody wrong. It's like, oh, these regular season team, they're gonna first round exits. Like then, there's no way they beat the Nuggets, and like we're proving
They just
everybody
don't know
wrong.
us. What did we get? We were like number 9 or 10 number of games on national TV. We're barely on TV.
Yeah.
People didn't see us. We didn't even have a Christmas Day game this year, and so these people just don't know us, and they don't want a middle of America team to be good.
And they see what the random Twitter troll posts on there of, here's Shai shooting a free throw. Look at him, and it's like sometimes like I want to say it was Game 5 is like he had 6, and 2 of those were at the end when they were fouling us to try to get the ball back. Like,
yeah,
it's people just believe what they want to believe. They just hate. They hate us because they ain't us. Like it is what it is.
you've got some of these big radio personalities talking, and I'm talking like big, like Fox Sports, not Foxx Den Sports, but Fox Sports people saying, "Hey, I think Minnesota versus New York would be the best matchup because Ant versus, going into the Garden." And I'm just like, whatever, man. Like, don't even. First off, we got to get through Minnesota first, but to not worry about anything else. But just aggravating, no respect. It's just constantly seems like it was more talk about Denver, and then also about Minnesota, which honestly maybe a little bit of fuel for fire. I mean, maybe we're flying on the radar a little bit, which doesn't make any sense being the number 1 seed, having home court advantage throughout the whole playoffs. But it does kind of tick me off anyway, a little bit when I hear that constant talk, even though the individual did say, "Hey, well, I still think the Thunder will win in 6." But yeah, let's move on. Go ahead. What's that?
I was just saying, people just love Anthony Edwards. He's explosive. He might be Michael Jordan's son. Do you want to know who Michael Jordan's real son is? Alex Caruso.
Alex Caruso.
Man is
me and Gannon nicknamed him the Roos. The Roos. So there you go. Maybe that'll catch on. Huh?
Bishop Sankey.
Let's transition. Let's talk about Oklahoma City Thunder. And next challenge we face, obviously, is against the Minnesota Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals. And what was it, Gannon, we heard earlier? I don't know. I'm sure Clay and Kellen also heard it, that this is the first time in how many years? So 29 years that a team in the Western Conference Finals from California or Texas is not in it.
Wow.
The last time that happened was Seattle, which was us, but Seattle versus Utah.
Not us.
Wow.
Right. Well, yeah, it wasn't us, but yeah. But anyway,
that's incredible.
Very interesting.
I just love it that it's like the 4 main guys have never won before. So it's just
I agree.
As much as like obviously rooting for us, I'm going to be crushed if it didn't happen, but like I'd still be excited to see somebody else get there first. Like, and a lot of people are saying like, "Oh, that's terrible for basketball." Like, no, that's fantastic for basketball.
It's good.
It's the start of our dominance. I think this is going to be the start of our.
That's why the NFL is so good, is because they have somebody different almost every year. They
True.
have some good teams like the Chiefs right now are playing good, but you rotate it around, man. It keeps the fan base going.
Well, the last 9 years, it's been a different winner. Like there hasn't been any back-to-back.
Yeah.
So like
cool
Paul mentioned a second ago, I think at least this could be the first time we do it, and will be kind of the dynasty.
And for like, I saw that stat, and like the 70 years prior, like 7 teams made up like 72% of the championships. Like
Lakers
Lakers and Boston.
Real people, like real people that watch basketball want new teams. Like if it's not their team, they want to see something different from time to time. People that just enjoy the sport. So like, I just don't understand why. I don't care about ratings.
No,
I don't care at all.
I do think if New York gets in it, that the ratings will be bigger just because of the East Coast and the New York
and like
television
nobody
sets.
cares
But
about
yeah, they're just. I think Indiana. They're praying Indiana doesn't get in. That's what the
horrible
networks.
for NBA, Indiana and Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'd. I mean, I would probably. I don't know if I'd watch start to finish. Let's just put it that way.
I would have watched all the games, or I'd have it in the background, but it's not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be locked in for sure.
I'd get a lot of laundry and dishes done during that series.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll sit there and watch Amy do it, but anyway, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Oklahoma City, incredible year, 68-14 regular season, youngest team to ever win 60 games. Minnesota just dispatched Golden State in 5, riding high at this past game. They've been off for a little bit. How many days have they had off? 4 or 5 at least. I know we had a regular season split with them at 2-2. So the game 1 starts tomorrow night, Tuesday night, 7:30 here at the Paycom Center. Key matchups, obviously, everybody's going to talk about is Shai and Edwards, battle of 2 young superstars. Shai averaging 35 points a game against Minnesota this season. Edwards is playoff tested after this last series. Looking to add Shai to his trophy wall. He's put out some good teams. So other things to look at: Chet Holmgren, he's headed back to Minnesota versus Rudy Gobert. I call him Gobert, rim protecting and spacing. And you got Thunder depth and against the Wolves. Do you think they got a little bit more experience off or not really?
No.
Not really.
Well, they were in the Western Conference Finals last year, weren't they?
Against the Mavericks.
They were,
Yeah.
but you didn't hear anybody say a lick about experience after last night. You know what I mean? Like it's a thing that people talk about. Doesn't matter with us.
And then they traded away Karl Anthony Towns.
True. So then you also got perimeter defense, Lou Dort and Alex Caruso versus Ant and Jaden McDaniels. Both teams are elite defensively. Obviously, the Thunder are way better. So it could be a grind. Do you expect to see high-scoring games or more low-scoring games in this series?
Maybe the first one to 100.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is because I think that my favorite stat that I've seen, not all year, but recently at least, is we finished this regular season, right, with a half-court defensive rating that was 7.4 points better than the league average. That's a huge margin. In the playoffs, it's up to 9, a 9-point differential from the average of half-court defense. And that's better defenses, not better offenses too, but it's easier to set up a defensive scheme like we saw this last series. And we got only better. So from one of the most historical defensive seasons in the regular season, somehow got even better. So I'm very excited to see that this series, like Clay said, first to 100 is going to give you a good feeling. So it'll definitely be a defensive matchup on both ends.
Who has the edge in this series? You think Shai or Edwards?
Not even close.
I think Shai has the edge in any series. Edwards can go crazy, but I feel like he also has games where it's like he starts 3 for 13. Like
Shai,
but he's going to shoot 30 times, so he's going to put up points. But
Shai
Shai's far more consistent.
Shai has the way advantage because he doesn't have Dort and Wallace and Caruso guarding.
True.
Well, who do you expect to guard Edwards? Will be
Dort, Caruso.
I think it's going to be a mixture and a lot of double teams as well. But I think it's going to
break. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think it's going to start out Dort and just kind of working around that.
Kind of break it down. Who do you think will guard who, like from the starting 5 standpoint?
Shai probably guard Conley.
Who's going to guard Gobert?
Hardenstein.
Yeah, it'd have to be Hardenstein.
I guess Williams will probably guard McDaniels.
I'm excited for Chet versus Gobert because Chet flamed him a couple times this year. And he's still recovering from that injury, but prior to the injury, I was loving that matchup. And it's not one-on-one at all. It's a team game. But I hope Chet can be confident and aggressive.
Chet might guard McDaniels. Williams probably will guard Randall. Now that I say that.
Yeah, you're right. He also locked him up this year. And Randall, he is honestly, I think, playing the best basketball of his life. Mm-hmm. So this will be a different Randall. But I also think this is a different Jaylin Williams for whenever they played. And OKC as a whole.
For sure.
So,
and it's hard to say. That's going to be the first 5 minutes of the game. And then after that, it'll be all different.
These matchups could, you're right. You're right.
Here's a question that I've read several different articles because I'm trying to get as much information as I can about this, but they're continuously, almost every article brings up Oklahoma City's youth and will it be a strength or weakness in a physical series? I think we just went through a pretty intense series, and I think they stepped up to the plate. To be honest with you, and we all know that Game 1 got stolen from us, but and we did it to ourselves. But regardless, I'm just saying that I think this builds a lot of confidence for these guys. But what do you guys think? How about our youth in this series? Do you expect this to be more physical than Denver?
Yeah, just because their defense is better.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be more physical. But when it comes to the youth, I think the youth was a bigger disadvantage last series because that's a championship team. Like this team, they have some more veterans, yes, but it's like their leader is just as young as our young guys. So like,
yeah,
I don't think youth is going to be an excuse on this one. Hopefully, I mean it could be, but it's like if that's the case, then that's just our own problem. But I don't think youth is going to be the issue this series, personally.
Yeah, and then are the Timberwolves deep enough to handle our pace? Because I know Denver did 7 or 8 players. Go ahead.
Yeah, a little more depth. Naz Reid is an outstanding six man. So they got a little more depth. They play a little more. I don't think it's going to be as big as of an advantage for us this round, but our advantage with that is if foul trouble comes in, or if there's an injury, or obviously 7 games is just brutal. I think that's where our advantage is going to come in with the amount of guys, the 10 guys that we play. And I'm honestly shocked Kendrick Williams didn't get in much and play 11 guys, but maybe it was just a matchups. I don't know, but he didn't really get to play hardly at all.
Dan and Kellen, you got anything to add?
I don't think there's any team outside of it was Boston that could keep up with our depth. So I don't think there's anything we got to worry about at this point. Like, I think they do have some good bench players. I just think we have more.
I saw something else online today that it's showing the top 5 most common lineups with Shai, like him and the other 4 players.
Yeah.
And it's funny because each lineup is either plus 14 net rating, plus 18, plus 29, or plus 36. And then there's one, the second most common, is a plus 3 net rating, which is not very good. And it's our starting 5, which I think is hilarious.
Wow.
It's the double big with Williams and Dort with Shai. So I would like to see more Case and Wallace and flip-flopping between Chet and Hartenstein. And because our 3-point percentage is 42% whenever it's Chet and not Hartenstein, and then Wallace on the court as well. And then we allow 30% for 3-point. So the match, or the 5 mans that are on the court, it's just funny how our starting 5 that Mark goes with, and I trust him, but it just is very interesting that it's not even close to our most successful 5. So that like gives me confidence, because that means our depth is almost better than what we throw out there in the beginning. I think our depth is an advantage.
The first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Man, I can't imagine. Imagine you're a little not like super nervous, but you're a little nervous. It's Western Conference Finals. You give a good 5 minutes to start the game. You're feeling decent, and then you see that guy check in to guard you. I don't know how you would feel. Like, you finally let Dort get off you, or maybe whoever it is, and then you got Wallace and Caruso coming in. It's got to be a hard matchup. I would like to hear after the season, or maybe after each series, just how that impacts kind of just like the zone that you're in as an offensive guard on the other team. Like, not even just like a funny narrative. Like, I really do wonder, because most teams, when their star defensive player gets in foul trouble or has to go to the bench, it's a little bit of a relief, but it almost isn't. So I do want to hear, like, I wish people would ask Murray that, or maybe Edwards after this series.
Well, let's talk briefly about what to expect, and maybe some predictions coming up. But X factor for Oklahoma City, who do you think could be the X factor?
I feel like I really feel
Too
like
many.
Yeah, honestly, we have too many, but I feel like J-Dub could really, because like we said, when he's on, and the whole team is fired up. But also, like, it sounds like it's such a simple answer, but Caruso, when that dude is on the court, he's giving giving it his all, whether he shoots 0 times or shoots 4 times, but it's his defense that's just smothering.
I'm going to go with Chet as our X factor. I think he had an outstanding series rebounding the ball. I think this series is going to come down to how good we rebound, so we need that from him as well. But because of the way Minnesota plays and stuff, we got to have Chet draining some threes, and so I think he's our X factor.
I've got to go J-Dub as well. I think if I could guarantee one player on the roster playing the best basketball of their lives, I would say him. And if it was him, we would win in 4 games. If he played 4 games of excellent basketball and the rest of the team didn't crumble, which they won't. And you could say that about anybody I know, but if he just plays average, I think we win in 4. So all we need is him to play average. I would love for him to play a little better than average, obviously, but I'm not asking for that. I'm just asking for average. And if we get that, I think 5, but it's not that easy, I know. But that's why he's my X factor, because if he plays good, the whole team is better.
Yeah, I could see being like Holmgren. He's playing in his hometown, his rim protection, floor spacing, things like that. But I'm going to go with probably an easy answer is Caruso. I think that guy, he locks him down. He helps lead those fast breaks. I think he's going to be just. This is why I love the guy, and I think he could be the missing piece that helped us just kind of help put it all together, finalize it all, I guess you could say. Most pundits are picking Oklahoma City Thunder to win in 6 games. Let me ask you a couple of questions real quick. Is who out of the Thunder needs more minutes in this series, do you think?
Cason Wallace. Electric offensively. Even if it's half-court offense, when he touches it, he can either blow by his guy, I'm very confident in him shooting a three-pointer. And then defensively, we don't even need to say anything about that. But his transition offense is unreal.
Yeah.
And I think he should start, but I'm okay with him coming off the bench so he can kind of be that spark.
Sometimes I think a little J will, like, just give our 2 main bigs a break, don't get them in foul trouble as often. Plus, just like, I don't care if you get 6 points out of that dude, those 6 points are electric. Like,
I don't know if you remember when you guys we were sitting there right before the game and they were getting ready to come out of the tunnel and everybody's ready and he's just got this big
you
smile
did say
on his
that.
face.
You pointed that out.
And I was like, man, that guy just keeps things just low key and just he is a great locker room guy, and I don't disagree with what you just said. Clay, what about yourself?
He's a good player, but he's a great locker room presence for sure.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with Gannon. I think Cason Wallace needs a lot more time. I knew he was fast, but man, he has kicked it into another gear on those fast breaks. I mean, it's like Callie brought up earlier, that dunk. The game was over when he dunked on Joker. Then
that was awesome.
They said that was when the loudest it got in Paycom.
Oh, really?
But so I think he needs to get more. I'd like to see Wiggins and Joe get more, but they're in there to make threes and they're just not doing it on a consistent basis. So I think Wallace is probably the man that needs to get more time.
And I agree with you. He's the man. That kid is something. He's special, and this is only his 2nd year, I think, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Have you seen the clip of the guy asking him about the dunk after?
Huh.
He was like, I don't know if this is him always, but he was very quiet. He just kind of laughed. He was like, yeah, it was it was fun. I'll remember that one for a while. Just with a big smile. Like he wasn't talking any trash. He was just like, yeah, it was fun. It was a big one, yeah. And like he was just very subtle about it.
Chet
I thought it was hilarious.
And did it, and Chet came off the bench when he did it and spun around. I got so excited. It was pretty fun.
Hey, I was too. I was jumping all over the place.
My goodness, Gannon was a madman. He was possessed at the house yesterday. His voice was hurt last night. He was screaming so hard. Remember the old posters we used to have in the rooms, Clay? Remember, like that posterized? I'd love to have a posterized picture of that. Of
Sports
Duncan.
Illustrated posters, where that term came from, is posterizing them.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, man. That was something special, and I think he is going to be a fantastic player. All right, so let's talk about next week on our podcast. So we have a game Tuesday, Thursday, and is it Saturday or Sunday? Do you know?
Saturday evening.
Okay, yeah. And then I think we play again on Monday, right?
Yeah, every other day.
Yeah.
And every game is 7:30 Central, except for a possible game 7, which is at 7 p.m.
Two-part question. Kind of understand the first question, what the answer is going to be, but how important this first game is. But secondly, what is your expectation going into next week's podcast, where we'll be at game-wise? Will we be up 2-1, 3-0, down? What are your thoughts?
I think 3-0, personally. 2-1 at worst, but I really think 3-0.
I was wrong last time, but I'm going to stay confident. I think 2-1. A week from now, we'll be recording this podcast.
Okay.
Up 2-1.
I'm going to go down 1-2.
No kidding. Where do you see them losing? First game?
I see us losing games 2 and 3.
No kidding. The enforcer, Clay, Bench McDonough with the
I think
big
we win this thing 5-1. So for me, it's whether we lose game 3 or 4-1. In 5 is
5 games,
4-1.
yeah.
But whether we lose game 3 or 4,
we're going to beat them an extra game.
yeah.
Beat them so bad we're going to go one more.
I'm sorry. I think I cut you off, Cal. What were you saying?
I just think we either lose 3 or 4, game 3 or 4, but that's the only thing we lose.
I think we'll be up 2-1. I see us winning the first 2 at home, and then maybe dropping that third one there, and then getting us back into it, and then taking off, winning next Monday night, being up 3-1, and kind of closing it out. It's kind of what I'm looking at, but I thought we were going to be. I don't know if I said 5 or 6 against Denver, and I know completely different game, completely different teams, and all that matter. But regardless, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I'm excited with our coach. We got a great coach with Daigneault, and then the team is just, oh man, these guys are fun to watch. Clay, you were living here back when we went to the finals, and what year was that? 2016? Was it earlier than that? I can't remember, man.
12 for the finals.
Finals
12, yeah.
Finals in 12, and then we went. Okay, and then because we were living,
we were either in the final or conference finals or the finals 4 out of 7 years, and the 3 of those years were injuries.
Us 3 were living in Springfield, Missouri at the time, and we were big fans. Don't get me wrong, but it was different because I see the excitement now, with people being excited. But can you, between the two, and I'm not saying compare which one's better, and this has got to be better, but what were your thoughts, like excitement with fans, perhaps, or even with yourself mainly?
Yeah, no, I think. Obviously being new, something like, oh my goodness, we're going to do this. I can't remember. I think I'm going to get this wrong, but it feels like we beat like the Mavericks round 1,
Lakers, San Antonio at some point, right?
Lakers round 2 with Kobe.
Yeah.
And then we beat San Antonio, who was the team, in round 3. And I'll never remember Popovich going, pretty impressive what these guys just did. Look at the 3 teams they just beat to get to the finals. That's how good they are. And so that's when I was like, oh my Lord, we've made it. And, and then you run in, you're playing Miami with LeBron and all those guys, and they hadn't won it yet. And so they were feeling it and just like,
we won game 1.
Pretty scary. So it was pretty, I'll tell you what, the city, it was unbelievable. Like no matter where you went, you saw Thunder stuff. No matter who you were talking to in the hallways, at work, at church, on the radio, whatever station you listened to, everything was Thunder. It was everybody wore Thunder shirts wherever you went. It was pretty exciting. That's when they used to do the Thunder Alley downtown too.
Yeah.
And so it was, 10,000 people just standing outside the arena watching the game. So that was awesome.
Well, I know. In that series, you were just talking about, like San Antonio they swept their first 2 rounds, won both first 2 games against us, and ESPN's just San Antonio, the greatest, and then we just 4 in a row, man. I do remember that. I remember that.
Yeah. Who was it we beat first round? Did you see that? Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, I don't.
It had to be Dallas.
I think it was. I think you're right. I do. I really do. I think you're right.
I think they might even. Did they still have Nowitzki then?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, tell everybody today is Gannon's birthday. He's 21 years old today. Gannon, happy birthday! Spending it with us on a podcast, and then Kellen. First time we saw him in a year and a half, he came in town secretly. Well, we knew he was coming, but Garrett didn't know he was coming. Kellen, let everybody know kind of what you guys did this past weekend. You and Gannon
threw a little surprise bachelor party for old Gary. We played kind of played a lot of it by the seat of our pants, but we went to a Springfield Cardinals game, sat on the little special upper deck with unlimited food and soft drinks, and went some real nice golf simulator. Did that for a couple of hours. Did some pickleball, some pickup basketball. Just hung out. First
Played
time
some
me
2K.
and Dan have all been there together in a year and a half. So I think so.
Yeah.
Just all hung out. Gary had no clue what was going on when we showed up. We opened the door to his apartment or his house. I mean, and he's like laying on the couch, has a blanket on his legs, and he goes, just pure fear, looking at me. He's like, you could tell he's said, "Hey," he knew who he knew who I was, but he didn't even recognize me for a second because I didn't belong there. Like it just didn't fit. But yeah, it was fun. Just all hung out, bunch of dudes chilling.
Ken, what all did you do? Or what do you want to add to that?
I mean, it was a fun time. I think he was still a little surprised even when we were leaving after a few days. But yeah, it was a fun weekend, just hanging out with the boys. I think we were saying this too. I think that might have been the first time all three of us have seen each other, not in the context of just like all 6 of us or 7 of us when we're actually like older. Like the last time us 3 hung out, not in a family context, I was probably, I don't know, like 14, you know what I mean? So it was really fun.
Sure. That is pretty neat. I know he enjoyed it. He's got a wedding coming up here in a couple weeks, so we will see the dog again here in a few weeks. It'll be pretty cool. All right. Couple fun questions to ask, and then we will have a wrap for the day. So the first question I have is this. Name a place, a city, whatever you would like to go to, if you could, like right now, and have something to eat. Where would you go and what would it be?
Probably go to Minneapolis later this week and eat whatever they're serving at the basketball game.
That's a good answer.
True fan.
Nah,
Nachos.
I feel like I'd go just to like New York and get some pizza.
I'm going to Cinque Terre, Italy, and getting some pizza.
Yeah. So you've had that before, right? And is it just what, fresh, incredible? What? I mean,
Best pizza I've ever had.
yeah. Okay.
What kind of pizza was it? Like a more Italian looking pizza, or does it still look like what we're used to?
Nah, I didn't. It wasn't. It wasn't like traditionally round. It was like a little uneven. Some
Lopsided.
cheese. Good. The sauce was unreal. Little pepperoni.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah, was there any beef or anything on it? Okay.
Yeah, I got pepperoni. Yeah.
Okay. Clay?
Man,
I haven't been many places, but yeah.
I can't think of very many places because everything I like is right here in Oklahoma City.
What's your favorite spot in Oklahoma City?
Subway.
Man, Subway. I like to eat fresh.
Got this really good, nice Subway by the house.
Man, I'm such a variety eater, man. I like so many different places. Tell you that hamburger place at Nick's Grill.
That's pretty good.
Pretty
That
good
is
stuff. Good. Yeah, and pizza in New York City, I could see doing that. I think it'd be fun. Just Chicago's pizza's pretty good, but
yeah,
I'm kind of like Kellen, man. Even though it's going to the Timberwolves and arena and watching a game, I mean, it'd be fun to go to a Cubs or Reds game, sit in the stands and eat some hot dogs.
Oh yeah,
I think I'd rather do stuff like that than eat a steak restaurant somewhere.
Oh yeah. Like for me, it would be Lombardi's in New York City. That's my favorite pizza. Of course, I haven't had like the pizza like Gannon's talking about. I'd love to go overseas and have some really nice, really good cuisine that some of these guys have, but that's just me. All right. Last question. And here it is. All right. So you're a coach. All right. Would you rather coach an NBA team, NFL team, NCAA college football team, or like the soccer, the Premier League? Let's say you're coaching for 18 years and you win 6 championships. Which not team, but which sport would you rather be the coach of to win it? Say you coach for 18 years and you got 6 championships. Let's just say that.
Soccer.
Premier League or
Spanish League, the Spain.
Okay.
I'd be NFL.
Okay. What why? Just curious.
More
well known.
It's only one game a week. Not near as much travel as NBA, and they get paid a lot more than every other sport.
Gannon, what's your reasoning behind the Spanish League?
Harder to win 6 times in 18 years, worldwide, not in popularity, but worldwide in difficulty. It's not just isolated to one country.
Okay.
and it's just the best sport. And you have I'm not going to say more. I'll say equally. I was going to say you have more impact as a coach or a manager over there. I think they all have their own impact, so I'm not going to go there. But
Okay. Kellen?
Did you say it had to be like professional?
No, it doesn't have to be professional at all. No.
Because as much as I would love to do like basketball, I'd say like college football.
Yeah.
Like, something about like winning that much in college football, like not that it's not impressive anywhere else, but it's just like, you see me?
cut out there for a second.
Yeah,
I
go.
was just saying,
You back?
your
said
legacy
not-
is just
Yeah.
different.
Go for it
like,
again.
in
Say it
college.
one more time.
Like,
Sorry.
It's just unmatched.
I would say the same thing, college football, and here's why. NFL, let's say you get a quarterback or whatever, and they're with you for the majority of it. You got a lot of that guy. They're, hey, this guy. But if you went in the college ranks, you've got different team, and I know the NFL does too, but for the most part, the main guys, the big guys, are continuously there. Not always. But I'm just saying in college football, you got a different quarterback every few years. If you won 6 championships, you're probably winning with at least 3, if not 4 different quarterbacks. So you can't be, saying, oh, well, he had this guy. It's about recruiting, and you got the difference is, I guess NIL has completely changed it all, but you're recruiting people to your team as well. So plus, I think you would have more of an impact on college students versus having, I say that, what do I know, but versus NFL. But I just think if I could win 6 championships in 18 years with the Dallas Cowboys or the Oklahoma Sooners or the Thunder or the Yankees, I'm gonna pick the Oklahoma Sooners because I just think it would be just such a incredible impact, in my opinion. So that's just my thoughts.
Yeah.
Well, Kellen, I know you just got in from an overnight flight. Have you been to sleep at all yet?
30 minutes on the first plane, but those Frontier flights very uncomfortable, so could not sleep on.
So yeah, poor guy.
And
then he had to go into work this morning after he flew in. And yet you were delayed too. How long were you delayed?
They're about to board, 15 minutes away. Showed up way too early anyway, but delayed an hour on that one. I was annoyed, but I was like, all right, I got a 4-hour layover anyway, so whatever. And then second one just gets delayed 30 minutes, so it goes from me landing at 5:45 to 6:15, and I'm like, I know it's pushing it to get me to work on time. Then it gets delayed to like 7:11, and I was like, I'm probably not making it to work on time. And they're just not giving any reasons. They're just like, oh, it's
rough
for the control tower or like documentation something. Then finally we board the plane. They're saying we're leaving at 1:30 in the morning. We get on the plane. I get a text saying like your gates changed, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm already on the plane. And so we're like 50 people out of 150 on the plane, and they let every single person board and sit down before they say, yeah, there's something wrong with this plane. We have to hop on a different one. They didn't document the maintenance properly. The plane's fine, but legally we can't allow you to on this plane. So they said there's another one right across the runway we'll all just go over to. That's what they said, but then they made us all go inside, rewait in line. But instead of going by zones, it was just pure chaos. So we finally, and then they said, all right, we're leaving at 2. That plane doesn't take off till like probably 2:45. I don't land till 8 o'clock in the morning.
I'm already mad.
I'm supposed to be at work at 9, so I didn't make it to work till 10. Like I was.
Was that in Denver?
Yeah,
all of that, and you were only an hour late? My goodness.
But it was just like, oh yeah, in a Shea jersey.
Were you in Denver that whole time?
That's what I got. Okay, did anybody say anything about that?
Shea, great game, man. I won a lot of money. I picked you guys to win by 18, $1,100. And I was like, holy crap, all right. But yeah, nobody else. Like some people were wearing some Nuggets hats and stuff, but that was about it. But I mean, I think the trashy area of the airport I was in, like nobody gave a crap. Everybody's just trying to freaking get on this plane. Everybody's ticked off. Like it was awful. Like I will never fly Frontier again in my life. Immediately, I came home this morning. First thing I did was buy tickets for Gary's wedding to make sure I got them in time to not have to do Frontier.
Good for you. Well, sorry you had to go through that, but good for you.
Pretty smart to buy them now.
But originally I was going to
considering that
drive the
wedding
whole
was scheduled
thing, and
in
mom
January.
said I was going to drive the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And now
That's
I'm
true.
just flying over
Yeah,
the
he's
city
true.
and
with
driving back. So
Oh, okay. I'm with you
Yeah.
then.
He's going to drop Gannon off. Was it Memphis or
Yeah.
somewhere?
Yeah, Madison and Ethan fly Frontier all the time.
But it's
and
really not
every
that much
single time
cheaper if
it's
you
a
book everything in
massive
advance,
nightmare.
because
I'm like,
I
never
paid
doing
an
that.
extra $35 per flight for a carry-on, not even a checked bag. And then they said you have to pay an extra $6.99 to be in zone 1. I was like, oh, that's just $6.99. Get on the plane, get comfortable. Turns out if you're not in zone 1, you don't actually get a carry-on bag. They're going to force you to check it. And I didn't do a checked bag because I knew landing at 5:30 in the morning, I didn't want to wait on my checked bag. I wanted to get to work. So I didn't even bring bathroom supplies. I bought all of it in Oklahoma and left it there because I knew I'd come back for the wedding. So then I was like, they're like, yeah, we can only fit 80 carry-on bags and we have 150 checked in. So we need some voluntary people. But they didn't say voluntary. They said everybody with a checked bag line up. So we're all standing in line. And I told the lady the situation. I told her why I didn't want to, and because it was like it'll be ready at Carousel so-and-so in Denver. I was like, I'm not going to have time to get it in Denver and then come back into the – she's like, oh, well, we can get it to your other one. I was like, well, I don't really think I got time for that either, because that would have made me an hour and a half late to work in the end. But at that point, I wasn't even thinking of being late. So she said, well, if you just try to be sure you're among the first 80 on the plane. For an hour, 45 minutes, I stood by the zone 1 to make sure – I had to stand up the whole time. Meanwhile, I'm in a hoodie and my shade jersey, so I'm sweating. And then they're like, all right. And then I purchased the $6.99 board first. Then it's like, okay, we're ready for which I understand this. We're ready for the people in the wheelchairs, the people with little kids, the people that need help. And then Elite Gold 1 members. And I was like, who are these guys? One, if you're flying Frontier, spending an extra $200 on flights, get on a different flight. Like, what are you doing? Then it's like I still made it on that one, but then the next one I knew that situation, so I did it, and I stood by the front for an hour and 15 minutes, and then at that point they changed I was standing up the whole time. They changed our gate, and everybody ran to the other one, and then there was no plane there, so I still stood by the front that whole time, and then all of that didn't matter because once we got on the plane, had to get on the other plane, and it was like. Yeah, I was already having like travel anxiety, which I don't usually have, but it was because of the like getting in the morning of having to go to work. I knew I was going to be tired. I was worried about being late, all this, all that. And all this was just like, I was stressing out. Oh my gosh, never again. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why I slept 30 minutes
by then you
total
can't
last
sleep
night
on the plane.
on the first flight. Like and like those seats don't lean back at all. They don't have a cushion for the head. No leg room. So I was just like, oh my gosh! Wow. Yeah, it was awful. I don't know how
flying
Madison
in a cargo
can
jet
do that. Like, gosh, it wasn't. I just didn't feel like it was that much cheaper. Like, if you plan ahead, like I did not do, and book a Delta flight in advance, it would have been about the same.
Wow,
rough.
Oh yeah, but it was worth it just to
all for your just to see love of your brother.
Hint of a smile on the side of Gary's face.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well. Gannon, have you decided on a meal yet? Oh, man, we were going to do it live. All right. Well, the Foxx Den Sports Podcast, I'd like to thank all of our listeners to checking us out today, taking time out of your day, listen to our podcast. We really appreciate it. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and or any other place where you can get our podcast. And I want to remind everyone that iron sharpens iron. Please stay safe, be savage, not average, and remember to join the skulk.
Stay thirsty, my friends.
And Kellen, what else do we have? That's right. Until next time with Kellen, Gannon, and the enforcer, Clay Baines McDonald, I'm the Podfather. Goodbye, everybody. Boomer.
Sooner.
For what? Yeah. Yes.
Thank you for listening to the Foxx Den Sports Podcast. Be sure to subscribe for free to our YouTube channel, Foxx Den Sports. And also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Foxx Den Sports and on Facebook at Foxx Den Sports Podcast. You can also email us at foxdensports@yahoo.com. This has been Foxx Den Sports.